All right, so I'm trying this with a new camera. It's actually just my iPhone camera that I have plugged into my computer. I think it looks a lot better, and we're going to try this eat a bit problem. So I'm just going to start a timer here, give ourselves 40 minutes. Oh wait, start 40 minutes, and we've got it down there. Okay, and I'm trying another thing here where I write most of my thoughts in a markdown file before I even try coding. Just like really force myself to like not jump into coding right away. That's not an issue for me. I usually, do my due diligence when it comes to this stuff, but yeah, just something I'm focusing on right now. I'm looking like I'm very orange. I'm wondering, do I switch to a different editor or theme maybe? Just turn this light on. I don't know if this is gonna be any better. Yeah, pretty yellow. Okay, so we'll just give this a go. Okay, so given an array of strings and an original string, write a function to output an array of boolean values. Okay, so our input, there's two inputs. There's one which is array of strings, and the other is an original string, so just original original word, which is just a string itself. All right, and true if the word can be formed from the original word by swapping two letters once, only once, and false otherwise. Okay, so let's get into some of these test cases here. If we looking at this, so for this one, all caps. Okay, and I guess that's, yeah, I feel like caps are probably important here. So this first one, swapping A and B, these two, okay. The next one, swapping A and E, so that's true, true. And B, C, so this one you can't do it, so that's why it's false. And then this one, A, C, B, so if the E was at the end, in the place where D was, and D had taken its place, then this would have been one, but it's not. So, okay, so as far as like our rules go, and basically one of the explicit ones here is in our operation, we can only swap swap one pair of, I guess, strings. So that's the main requirement here. I think it's fair to assume, I guess there's like a couple possibilities here when it comes to data types, but it seems like I think it's fair to assume that it's always going to be the elements in the input array are always going to be strings. They could technically be like empty strings, I think. So I think like a test case like this would be considered valid. It's called validate swaps. Just grab that. Something like that, and then something like this. Seems like this should probably return like four trues, I feel like. Or maybe some error message or error. Yeah, so there's that one, and then so basically like our so we've got like input of array of strings. Elements can be empty string, or any type of string characters. any assortment, I guess. Just so long as they are strings, and I guess an assumption I'm making here is they're always going to be of the same length. I feel like that if they were not of the same length, that would kind of break the problem. So I guess that could be a potential test case here. We just grab like this one again, and one of them is the wrong length. I feel like this should very much return an error message, like invalid input or something. Okay. So these are some edge cases, and then I guess like an obvious edge case here could just be the case where, you know, maybe this isn't a string. That's one test case. We were actually, it was this one, wasn't it? Yeah. So we'll just paste that in, and this is going to be an error as well. It's just wrong data type for second arg. Okay. And let's think about this. So original string will consist of unique characters. Okay, that's huge. So that's, I guess that's sort of a requirement here. Well, actually, that's sort of a property of this input. So will only consist of unique characters, basically meaning no duplicates. Duplicate string characters in original word string. Okay. So we can write, I guess we don't have to write a test case for that, given that they give us this note here. It will consist of unique characters. All right. And then this one is just an example of that you can have like number characters. And I mean, obviously you could have like, I'm wondering if this applies. I don't know if this applies to the elements in our array. They don't specify that. True if the word can be formed from the original word by swapping two letters only once, and false otherwise. Okay, so I think I should probably start thinking a little bit about solving the core problem here. Yeah. Array of strings and original string. Ready function to output an array of boolean values. Okay. So let's think about, and then I guess our output is just array of booleans or error message. Okay. Got that. Okay, then case, I feel like case definitely matters. So case matters. So let's just grab like this test case. Okay. Here, and let's do like B there, and A, B. Yeah, okay, so then this would be false, true, or false, and then the rest of the, they just give it here. No, it's this one. So the first one's going to be false. All right. Then the other ones would be true or false, whichever they were initially. So this is case problem. Case matters. Okay. So it seems like as far as our, let's think about how to summarize this problem in a couple sentences. So I guess like given a string, we want to essentially like check to see if some, if two strings can become identical by making one, by performing one operation on the left string So that's basically what we're attempting to do here. And then based on that, we're just going to return the, I guess, like the result of checking if this is possible or not. So thinking about the data flow, we've got an array of strings, right? So array of strings, and they need to be all of length, I guess just n, where n is the length of our second argument. Okay. And so that's just a standard. Every element needs to be of the same length. Okay. So I guess we can, we should probably have maybe a higher variety of test cases here. So I'm just gonna grab this, drop it into here, because this is where we're going to be thinking about return values. Okay, it's a little weird because I've been so used to not writing in Markdown. Handles a little bit differently. Okay, so got this. This is true. Let's grab another one and let's do just like an array of length 1. Then this would just be true. And maybe think about something like this. Like, what if it's just an empty array, right? What if there's nothing there? How are we supposed to deal with this test case? I think it makes sense to just return that empty array, because there's nothing there. So yeah, that seems fair. So we're covering case, we're covering a situation where it's the wrong data type for the second argument. Maybe we need one that handles for wrong data type in this end. So maybe like, well, this is, I suppose, the wrong example to use. Can use this one, and instead it'll be this element is a number. So wrong data type for L in first argument. Okay. Just glancing at my time, 27 minutes. Okay, so we've got this sort of general understanding of the problem at this point. We've identified some of the edge cases. Oh, buddy. Oh, hey, buddy. You're okay. My puppy is having a nightmare at my feet. So and this is the edge case, or this is sort of like it's kind of an edge case a little bit. Okay, so we're thinking that this returns an empty array, and thinking, is there anything? There's that one, and then let's grab this core test case too, just to get both of those right at the top, since they give us some. Okay, so got this. Cool. So I'm thinking I probably will begin to start writing my algorithm a little bit. And I think I want to, so I guess that's where I need to actually start thinking about how to actually perform this operation, right? So let's just go through, like one of the core test cases. Just grab this information. Okay, we'll just bring it down here. So make it a little bit bigger. So once we know that, okay, all of these are of the same length and there's no invalid data types, how next to proceed, or how best to proceed from that point. So we're basically gonna have this string. So as we're producing our result array, we're basically comparing these two elements, or these two strings, and we want to see if it's possible to, I guess, swap once two of the elements. So swap them, meaning just have one replace the other, and vice versa. So seems like, what's the logic here? So for like traversing this string, initially, okay, these two elements are not the same. So then that's okay, that's one situation where this is not going, so we're allowed to have one position. Well, I guess we're allowed to have two, right? Because if we get, so we're here, this is not aligned with A does not align with B. So I guess we need like a counter here, I think, or I'm sorry, like some sort of like pointer, to check, like basically catalog the, so like need to catalog the out of the like non equal string characters as we encounter them. Okay, so we need to catalog non-equal string characters as we encounter them. So I'm thinking we would be moving through the two strings, just using some index to compare the elements at the respective indexes. And so in this case, we're seeing, okay, B is not equal to A, so we would want to catalog that somehow. Maybe like do, we could check like if, so I think we also need like a counter too. So like counter initialized to 0, and we would be at, okay, we would be basically, we would want to increment the counter when we encounter something where when we get to a point where two elements at the same index in the two strings are not equal. So we would increment that, and then maybe we would need to keep like the B and the A or something. Like that's what I mean by cataloging. So cataloging those, incrementing the counter, and then move to the next one. So we would increment the counter again, and then we would need like maybe maybe, so let's say it was like BA and then maybe like BA again. Okay, so like maybe, and then the rest of the string is fine, right? So counter would remain at 2, and I think as soon as, so okay, as soon as counter is greater than 2, we can immediately return false, because that would mean that we would never be able to accomplish rearranging the left string to equal the right string. There's no possible way to do that if we've encountered 3 indexes where the element at that respective index in both of the strings is not equal to the other. Okay, I think that's fair to assume. Yeah, okay. And then I think if we get to the end and maybe we like check if these are, or if there are, maybe we want to like make array, make catalog unique. And if length is only 2, is equal to 2, then we can return true, because that would mean that both the pairs have something that they can flip to, or be swapped with. Yeah. Okay. So I think we should probably start thinking about our algorithm here, because I think that does work, at least abstractly in my brain, that this solution could possibly be solved in that manner. So as far as our steps go, we need to guard against invalid inputs, and so we're thinking data type here. And so for the first one, it's an array, right? So must be array of strings, and this array of strings, these strings, so I guess every string element must be the same length as the second argument. Must be an array of strings, okay? And second argument must be a string. Okay, so we will check that, and then we'll check if it's an array of if the first argument is an array, and then further if every element in that array is a string. So every L is string, and then every string element must be the same length. So I think we can combine those two actually in like one check. Okay, so let's think. So we're going to have string characters so long as they're strings. Original word will only consist of unique characters. No duplicate characters. Okay, and then we're taking in an array of strings, and from there we want to transform that into array of boolean values corresponding with whether or not the letters can be swapped to make them equal. So yeah, are there any other I'm gonna confer with my test cases here. So okay, so case matters, so that's just something to keep in mind. Valid input. I think we're gonna go with true here, but I don't know. I don't know how I would actually deal with this. I don't know how my algorithm would accommodate for it unless I just wrote a guard clause to handle that specific test case. Okay. Wrong data type. Okay. So as far as the core algorithm here, what we want to do is traverse input array of strings, of valid strings. Valid meaning that it passed these two conditions here that we've identified. And then for each string, we would like to essentially compare, we would want to traverse original string characters with index, and for each character we want to, and I think this here is going to be a helper function, but for each character we are comparing, I think we also need, this is all going to be in a helper. Okay, so in our helper we need a counter, right? So count, or no match counter, and that'll be initialized to 0. We also need no match catalog, and it's just going to be an empty array. And so then for each character, if character A or character left is not equal to character right, then we want to increment no match catalog or no match counter and push both characters into no match catalog. Okay, so that was like up here, and I guess for each, so as we're traversing, if the no match count is greater than 2, then we can immediately return false. And yeah, immediately return false. And then if we get to the end, and so we're done traversing, we then want to make catalog unique. So we're just going to say that make or get unique elements from no match catalog. So and again, this is assuming that we haven't exceeded 2 for no match count. So get unique elements, get amount of unique elements from no match catalog, and if the length is equal to 2, then we can return true. Otherwise, return false. Yeah. Okay. I think that's fair. Yeah, I think that's fair. And so we kind of have like 2 little sort of helper functions here. And then as we're traversing this, we're going to be, I guess, depending on what is returned from this helper function, we're just pushing that into our output array. So result is just going to be an empty array at this point. And then upon each iteration of this loop here, we're going to be pushing some return value from helper, like the result of invoking the helper function into this result array. So if I were to, I've got what, 13 minutes? Yeah, I think I'm going to grab this, paste it into here, and console log this, okay, and go back, grab our algorithm, just grab that here, okay, just paste that here, okay. We've got our algorithm. So do I want to do a dry run? I don't know if I have time. Yeah, I'm not sure if I have time. Array and then string, okay. And so first of all, if type of, or if array is array, so if it's not an array, then we just want to, or if, so if it's on array, we'll just return invalid arg1. If type of string is not equal to string, then we want to return invalid second arg, invalid arg2. And then we also were thinking we wanted to, must be an array of strings, then every element must be a string, and that string must be of the same length as the second argument. Okay, so we validated that at this point, this argument is of type string, and this is of type array. So if I were to, let's just see which one. So this one is not valid, and I guess I don't have a test case for that specifically. So let's just write that one here. Maybe it's like an object or something. This would be an error. So let's just I move these two. I guess not. That guy up there, and this one up there. Okay, and then this was also problematic. Okay, and then I think here, do I want to deal with that case? I'm not sure. These two were like sort of questionable. Not sure how I would handle those. test cases. Okay, it looks good. So we want to let's write that guard clause for checking. So so if array some string, so if that string is either type of string is not equal to string, or the string length is not equal to, oh, but I should probably, we'll just we'll use something different here. Candidate. Okay, so candidate, oops, whoa. Grab that, candidate length is not equal to string length. Then we want to return invalid elements, valid array LMs. Okay, so if we're looking at our test cases here, this one's going to catch the first guard clause statement. This is going to catch the second one, and this is going to catch the third one. And then what about this one? That's going to catch the third one as well. So knowing that, or making that prediction, we're going to log exit node 1, node 1 JS, invalid arg1, invalid arg2. Okay, that's what we were expecting. So I'm going to comment these out. Actually, maybe I should handle, I do want to finish this in time, and I don't know if, I guess I don't know how I would deal with these yet. So yeah, we're gonna press on. So we'll comment this stuff out and bring this stuff back in. Okay, so the next step here, we need to declare some variables. So const result is an empty array, and we want to traverse input array of valid strings. So here we have our array. So we want to do a for loop here, using array, and then this will be candidate. Okay, let's just log out candidate here to ensure that everything is working. And I'll just comment those 3 out here. So if we run our code, we're seeing 1, 2, 3, 4, and it was of length 4. Okay, so that is correct. Great. So next thing we want to do here, if we check our algorithm we wrote, so for each string we just want to check, so we're going to push this into result, right? So we need to capture something, right? So const canned result, and then this is going to be that helper function. So maybe we'll call it can swap. It's going to be the candidate and the original. Okay, I wish I had named that original earlier. Candidate, and this is going to be can swap with candidate and string. All right, so now let's get into this functionality here, but we just want to remember we're going to push this element. So result push candidate result into that result array, and eventually we just want to return result. But I'm going to comment that out for now. Okay, so we've got can swap here. We need to fill it out. So for each, so I guess so we've got this helper, and we need these 2. So I'm just going to grab them, drop them in here. We'll do let there. Okay. So now we need to traverse with a for loop the length of either, or I guess both of these strings, because they're going to be of the same length. So for I, and then candidate length, and then character, and this is going to be candidate character. and then const ridge character. Okay, and then this is going to be original at I. And let's just log that out. Console log candidate character and original character. All right. And maybe we want to let's just look at, okay, let's look at this one. It's going to be, so I don't want to see everything. So maybe we will look at this test case. Okay, so it's going to call that here, and then we're going to evaluate this section. So if I run my code, we're seeing B, A, B, C, C, D, D, E, E, which is what we expected. So we know that that is theoretically working. So now the next step is we're traversing it. And so if match count is greater than 2, immediately return false. So that's what we'll do here. So if match count, oh wait, if I, no match counter, okay, so no match counter is greater than 2, return false. All right. And I'm just going to set that equal to 3. Because we're not actually logging this. So if we do like console log candidate result, I'm just expecting to see false here. Great. Okay, so we know that that guard clause is getting caught there, or getting triggered. So next step was for each character, so that's implied, if character left is not equal to character right, then we need to increment. So if candidate character is not equal to original character, then we want to increment the no match counter. Oops, no match, goodness, counter, increment that. Then we want to push both elements into the no match catalog. So just do no match catalog, push candidate character, and copy and paste this over. Original character. Okay. So we're there. And is there anything else that we needed to do while we're in the loop? I don't think so. So I think when you get the amount of the unique elements from no match catalog. Okay. So that was okay, so what do we need to do here? Basically we just get the amount of unique characters in no match catalog. Okay, so how are we going to do that? I think we could use reduce here. So I'm just gonna see what is console. Let's just do const result is equal to this, and it's going to be no match catalog dot reduce accumulator current. Okay, and we're going to create an object here to essentially just create the like a dictionary of the character counts, I guess. Yeah, of the characters, and then I think that makes sense to do. Yeah. So if accumulator current, so if it exists, then we want to I guess just if it doesn't exist, we want to add it to our accumulator. So it'd be accumulator current is equal to true. The value is arbitrary, and then we just want to return accumulator. So we're here, let's return, or let's log console log result. Okay. And we're looking, are there any more console logs? I don't think so. I think we're good. Okay, so it should just be it should just be a 2 element or an object with 2 properties. Great. Okay, so from there, we essentially just want the length, right? So unique characters, and we just want needs to be it needs to be, I guess, so is it array? Now I don't know if I can. How do I count the elements or the length? I can't do it. I don't believe there's like a size thing, right? It's not like object. I think I just ran out of time. A1 B2 object size. Yeah, it's not a function. Length, it's not a function. I just need to convert it to an array, right? Oh, okay, so we just need to use object entries here. Object entries. And just grab this and then just take its length. So we're expecting to see length 2 here being logged to the console. Oop. And result is not defined because we changed this name. Unique characters. Okay. 2. All right, cool. So that is working. So if unique characters is equal to if it's greater than 2, then we want to return false. Else, okay, so we'll return false. Else, if else, return true. Okay. So we're at about 42 minutes or so. Curious to see if we got to where we were hoping to get. For this single test case, it's working. Let's test some of the other ones. So that is passing. What about this one? This one should be true, 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 true. Okay. All right, and that one's passing. Let's check this one. True, true, false, false. Okay, that looks good. And these are just the invalid input types. Check this one. False, true, false, false. Okay, that looks right. I'm curious how it's going to handle this test case. I am not sure. Well, okay. I guess it handles this test case. I didn't think about this enough. This was something that I could definitely have worked on a little bit more, trying to like suss out how it should work. But I mean, yeah, this is technically working. So yeah, this was me trying to do this problem. And I hope the audio and video didn't go out of sync, but thanks for watching to the end if you did.